Hello everyone, I'm Sachin Vani from Informatica. In this session, we are going to learn about the profiling and purge issues with respect to profiling. So, in this session, we are going to discuss about the overview. In the overview, we are going to see the top architecture diagram for the profiling and profile warehouse. Then we are moving to the configuration tuning option at the data integration service level for the profiling. Then the execution way for the profiling. Then we are maintaining the profile warehouse to avoid the excessive growth. Then what are the common issues being reported while purging the profile warehouse, and log collection, in general log collection, and as well as the issue specific log collection. So let's start with the profile overview. So before moving to the architectural, everyone wants to understand why the profile being used and what is the use of profiling the data. So we are using a profile to get the good understanding of the strength and weaknesses of our data. So in our data warehouse, we have huge number of data. There are trillions of data being stored, but I want to understand, is it really a useful data for me? What are the uniqueness in my data? What are the null persisted in my data? What is the pattern? Is it unnecessary data being loaded into data warehouse or not? To understand those data related properties, we are using a profiling. So let's start with the profiling top view architecture. So as per you are saying that there are 4 modules. In the first module, we are saying that the analyst service and developer tool. These are the client module. It is a MRS which persists the metadata. It's a data integration service module which is run as a execution engine, and this is a profile warehouse which is nothing but a database which will persist the results and the stage data. So how it exactly these 4 modules are interrelated? So whenever I'm creating a profile definition with the help of analyst tool or the developer tool, we are creating an object. It treated as an object which will be saved into model repository service, and when I'm trying to execute that object, it will fetch the data definition of that profile and request a data integration service for the execution. So in the execution, it will read from the source, execute the profile, and persist the result into the profile warehouse database. So we'll look into further detail in the next slide, how the execution will work and what are the data being stored in the profile warehouse. Configuration, we are going to see these both snippet will show from the admin console data integration service level, where it's a properties level. We have option for tuning the profile warehouse. The top screenshot will show about where when the user decide to use a profiling, we have to enable the profiling module at the data integration service level. When you enable the module, it will pop up saying that you have to create a profile warehouse content. So profile warehouse will consist of, it will create some metadata tables. It will create tables which will persist the metadata for the profiling. It will shows the result. It will persist the result for the profiling run, and for that purpose we are using that schema. And these are the database level properties where we can tune it. From the naming, you can easily get to know what are the options we have and how can we tune it. And these are the advanced profiling or properties where we can set it based on our requirement. So when I say about the requirement, it's suppose for example, if you consider this property maximum concurrent profile jobs, so it from the naming we can get to know, okay, if I want to concurrently execute a profile jobs, so how can I execute, how many can I execute maximum? So this is a maximum threshold, maximum value, which is a 5. So at the time, if I in my a project I have a 10 profiles and I want to execute all 10 at a time, but this property will restrict that, it will restrict to the 5. It won't stop you for execution, but the 5 profile, if you set it to 5, if you are running your 10 profiles at a time, then it will 5 will be in running state and a 5 will be in queued state. It will wait for the next 5 to be completed, then the next queued profile will be come into the execution. So it is not like if you want to execute the 10 profile, then you can set it to configuration to the 10 for the maximum concurrent profile jobs, because it is depend on your resources as well. So whenever you're talking about a concurrent nothing, but only if you want to execute any job, we need a CPU to execute. So if you have underlying CPU hardware available, then we can configure this value. So So you can tune other properties similar way based on your resources available. If you have some queries regarding configuration, you can contact to Informatica. So profile execution. So in this slide, we are going to learn about what are the ways for executing the profile, and after the profile being executed, what are the results I can observe in the profiling in the console or the client, and what are the drill down option we have. So I'll show you in the analyst tool. Let's move to analyst tool. So you're saying that this is a profile EMP Sachin. This is the profile which I opened. It is an overview page. It will show the stats. It will show the number of times the profile run, how many columns at the table has, how many is there any rule being applied on the column, and how many rows in the source definition. So these are the we can easily get into know from the profile execution. It will say that what are the percentage of non-distinct value and the value frequency for the what are the values, what are the pattern it has. It will clearly, if you want to go to particular column level, it also gives a snapshot about what are the values I have and what is the frequency it has, what are the null percentage, what are the distinct value, what are the non-distinct value it has, what is the pattern, it is giving a regex for this, what are the pattern it has. It also infers a data type. It inferring you're defining as a documented is at varchar, but it seems to be you can use it as a string as well in this level. So this is how it will shows that okay, this has this many values. So if I have a Sachin is a name, it has a 512 frequency, how many times it occurred in this, that's a 512 times. So here I have option for the drill down. So I can perform the drill down and I want to view the results. What are the types? Suppose if it is Sachin, what are the types it has, how many frequency, what are the other columns. You can see that if there is a duplication for this, like a Sachin and the salary is different and location is matching, so it's a duplicate records. So this is how we can understand what are the duplicates in our data. So whenever I perform this drill down operation, there are two ways to perform the drill down. If you go to edit view, in this we have option for configuring the profile. So here we have a run profile is on all rows, and here we have option for the drill down. So drill down is nothing but there are two options we have, that is a live and stage, and third option is off. If you want to disable the drill down for the profiles, you can set this option. So why we use a drill down? If you want to see the particular column containing data, we are drilling down those results and we are seeing, okay, is there any duplicates records being there or not, and what are the types of records being persisted on that particular column and particular value. So when I'm selecting the drill down on the live data, it will goes to the source database, connect to the tables and form the query from the JDBC query and fetch the data from the source itself, and it will display on the result console as you are seeing in the last. So when you are selecting on the stage data, so here you are seeing the some message like recommended for mainframe sources, SAP sources and other process intensive sources. So it means that this stage data option, what it will do, whenever you are performing the drill down on stage mode, it will form the JDBC query, it goes to the source database, connects to the table and fetch the results from the database and persist into the profile warehouse, and then it will display on the drill down menu on the analyst tool. So there is a one operation, very extra operation being involved, that is persisting those entire source data into the profile warehouse database. So which is a very heavy operation which can further affect your performance on the profile warehouse, profile related operation. So this is why we are not recommending for the stage data for all type of operation. So we are clearly mentioning that if it is a data is too complex or the mainframe kind of sources you have, in such scenario only we are recommending to the stage option. So here the slide explain the same which I shown you in the analyst tool. So we have a stage data option, we have profiling results, a profile is what it contains, so stage data, profiling results and profiling status. It might be profile failed state or the execution state or the running state, or it is in completed state or it is in queued state. These are all status we can observe in the profile warehouse tables. So in this further, we are going to this profile drill down option. I already explained it's a live data, stage data, these two options we have, and what are the recommendation we have for executing. In this slide, we are going to see the tips for maintaining the profile warehouse. So why I mentioned the tips here? Because as I've seen that what are the profile warehouse content? Profile warehouse will contain the result for the profiling and stage data. So in such scenario, if you're not maintaining the profile warehouse, like a not regular purge which you are doing, it will keep on growing the data. The data will be grown in the profile warehouse, and it will further degrade the performance or affect any failure operation in the profile execution. So this is how our tips for maintaining the profile warehouse. If there is a purge option, infacmdps purge command, which you can use it for the purging the profile warehouse content. It is not recommended directly go into the profile warehouse tables and truncate the entire tables, which can affect the inconsistency across the profiling results, so which can affect further failure. So that's why we are not recommending directly truncating the database. We are recommending the purge operation, like infacmdps purge command. It will take care of all the interdependency across the tables. So based on the profile running, we are suggesting you to perform the purge. Suppose, for example, whenever you are doing the purge, DI should be in idle state while purging the profile warehouse. So this is recommended because purge is a functionality. It will check that if a DI is being available, or there is no job in execution state at the DIS level, this checks being added at the date in Informatica. If it is being no jobs been executing, the purge will be triggered. Only then purge will be triggered, to avoid the inconsistency while executing the profile. So every day, so we are recommending the value. We are recommending to persist at least perform the purge every 15 days, 15 to 30 days, based on your use case. If you want to have a 15 days of historical data for the profile, then you can keep retention days set to the 15, and you can run the profile purge every 30 days. And like that, we have option for the 100 if you are executing 100 plus profiles, or the 50 to 100 profiles. Based on that, based on your requirement, you can keep the, while executing the purge, there is an option for the retention days. You can keep that retention days. These many days the profile results will be persisted, remaining result will be purged. So whenever you are performing the purge, single if the last profile run always being persisted, it won't clear out the last profile run results. So along with this suggestion, we have some suggestion from the database side as well. So generally we have two supported databases, like for the profile warehouse, that is Oracle and a SQL Server. So in Oracle or any database, we are recommending profile run key. This is a non-unique index we are adding on the column, profile run key of the table IDP field verbo summary data. So we are finding much improvement, almost 5 to 10 times improvement in the purge. So with the help of DBA, you can create this non-unique index. And the second, on SQL Server database, we are finding some in the issue while reading the data. So that's why we are recommending this, both the value, like allow snapshot isolation and read commit snapshot isolation on. This both property being recommended on the SQL Server database side. So with the help of a DBA, you can set this both. As we have seen the tips for the profile, maintaining the profile warehouse, now we are going to see the common issues which are being reported while purging the profile warehouse. So there are, with the history, we have seen the cases like that there is a too much growth in the profile warehouse. That's the reason we are recommending those maintaining the profile warehouse tips for maintaining the profile warehouse. There are some more options, like some more issues we are being reported, like a profile warehouse not purging, or the purge command is hanging. So we are going to see what are the things to be collected in this scenario. What we are observing is, whenever the purge, infacmd purge being running, but there is no activity happening on the database side or on the data integration service side, there is no purging activity being observed. So, and the another third issue we are going to, the purge activity is very slow. So there are some activity, there are some delete command being observed at the data profile warehouse database side, but it is very slow. So this is a performance issue. So, and there are some other issues related with respect to drill down, like performance of issue in drill down. In this issue being only being observed when there is a staged drill down being happening. So let's move on to the log collection. In such scenario, if you're facing any of the one of these issues, then what are the logs to be collected? So in general scenario, we are requesting DIS logs, DB tracing on the profile warehouse. So DB tracing is nothing but the SQL tracing for the SQL Server database, and AWR report for the Oracle. This report with the both database side report you can get with the help of DBA. So it will help us to understand, is there any delete query, what are the types of queries, is there any CPU intensive queries being there observed on the database. So with the help of this report we can get a clear understanding how the purge being happened. With the help of DIS logs we get to know when the purge being triggered. With the database side tracing we'll get to know, okay, what are the queries, what are the intensive queries being there. So with the help of that we can observe it. And along with it, we want to understand what is the profile warehouse connection screenshot. So we can, any tune option, we can add it in the connection string for the profile warehouse connection. So that's the reason we are requesting the connection screenshot. Timestamp for the purge perform. So we'll get the idea about when the purge being triggered. So rather than going, if you are performing multiple purge for various profiles or the project level, then in such scenario it will help us to understand the timestamp when the purge being performed. So moving on to the specific issue. So in a performance issue or excessive profile error warehouse content growth. So in such scenario, like if you're not maintaining the if you're not maintaining the profile warehouse, so there are so many issues observed, or there is a too much growth in the profile warehouse being observed. It can reach to the 400 to 500 GB of size. So it will be very difficult to perform the purge on the huge profile warehouse database. So that's the reason we are recommending those tips for the maintaining regularly for the purge activity. If the profile warehouse is a Oracle type and a SQL Server type, we are sharing few queries to get the table space size. So it will give an idea that, okay, which are the tables which are being grown too much. So we can recommend to tune those tables. So that's the reason these are the query being shared with you, which will give the table size for the entire schema. So there is another scenario for the hang scenario. In this, as I explained earlier, when I am performing infacmd ps purge and that command being observed is running forever, so it is not returning any status when I'm running the profile. And when I'm observing the activity on the data integration service or the profile warehouse database, I am not observing any purge being triggered, or there are no delete queries being fired on the profile warehouse database. So to understand where exactly the hang is being, either it might be a infacmd level as well, or if it is just at the MRS level while fetching the profile warehouse profiles definition, where exactly it is hang. So for that purpose we are requesting more logging, like a JStack collection on the infacmd process, which is nothing but Java process, then the date along with the infacmd DIS data integration service, model repository service, and a node. If you collect the multiple JStack with the some every 10 seconds or 15 seconds for the 5 or 10 times, it will give idea about, okay, how the threads are moving and which thread is hanging on the which call. And also with the help of a DBA we can verify the delete queries trigger on the profile warehouse. This delete query we are requesting only to understand, is it really a performance issue or it's a hang issue, that will easily isolate based on the delete queries being observed on the profile warehouse. So these are the common scenarios, and how in such scenarios what are the logs to be collected we discuss. And moving to the next, we are just these are the contained some reference slides. So reference slides contains what are the, where I'm referring this content, how we can understand how we can create a profiles, how we can execute a profile. These are being covered in the, you can find the knowledge base article, also Informatica Network, you can guide the profiling guide you can refer. For the purge command, you can refer this KB. For the database related queries to get the table space, you can refer the KB. If you have any queries, please reach out to Informatica. Thank you.